Hello everyone and welcome back to another pre-release video. Today I'm going to be talking about the new London commuter route, also known as the Brighton Main Line. This is the third and final route to be released as a part of the TSW Rush Hour bundle. If you are excited about this route and you want to see more of these videos, like the video and subscribe to the channel for more content. The Brighton Main Line route, running between London Victoria and Brighton, is an over 50-mile long route with upwards of 30 stations. While the real-life Brighton Main Line has two different branches, one to London Victoria and another 9-mile long branch to London Bridge, the London Bridge branch will not be included. Some of you may also be wondering if the route has a connection to the East Coastway route at Brighton and the branch from Wivelsfield to Lewes. I'm here to tell you that unfortunately it doesn't. I remember a while back that it was said that DTG hasn't found a way to implement a system that essentially checks if you have both routes to connect them. I know that this is a bummer to a lot of players, being that the two routes would have worked so well together, with players being able to operate some services from Victoria to Eastbourne or some Gatwick services along the East Coastway line. Now you may have just noticed that I mentioned Gatwick Express services, and I'm here to tell you that yes, they are featured on this route. They run their full service with 4 trains per hour, running every 15 minutes between London Victoria and Gatwick Airport, with 2 trains per hour continuing to Brighton. This service pattern is in effect in both directions, so you'll be able to catch upwards of 8 trains per hour entering and leaving Gatwick Airport during certain times of the day. DTG have also modeled the evening and late night Gatwick services that call at most of the stations along the Brighton Main Line, like Clapham Junction and East Croydon, and some of them split into 4-car services that run down the East Coastway line. However, after leaving Brighton, they disappear into a portal over the London Bridge viaduct. With DTG including all of these Gatwick Express services, the total number adds up to a total of 178 playable services. Moving on to the southern services, honestly, there are too many to name, so I'll just go over the main ones. You have the fast services from London Victoria to Brighton via the Quarry Line, the slow services via the Slow Line, services from Reigate, services starting at East Croydon coming from London Bridge, and more. The total number of southern services adds up to a whopping 1,059 services. That's more services for Southern alone than the previous route with the most services, Hauptstadt München to Augsburg. Now, you may be delighted to know that all of these previously mentioned services will be available for all platforms the game is released on, including PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, Xbox One and the Xbox series of consoles, Steam, and the Epic Games Store. However, the layered services, much like the HMA route, will only be available for the next-gen consoles along with PC. These layered services include Freight with the Class 66, Southeastern with the Class 375, and GWR services with the Class 166. There will also be AI services for the Class 465 at London Victoria for Southeastern, a rare Class 43 running near Clapham Junction, and a Class 09 at Brighton. They've also included another rare service, with the Southeastern Class 377 at London Victoria. The reason all of these layered services are exclusive to only next-gen and PC is that when tested, the last-gen consoles, with those being the PS4 and Xbox One series of consoles, crash as soon as you spawn onto the route. Now, DTG has said that they will attempt to find a way to optimize the game so we can gain back some of these services in the future. However, upon release, last-gen players will only be able to access the 1,237 services operated by Southern and Gatwick. I myself don't see that as much of an issue because we've never seen a route that's had this many services, so this is still an incredible milestone that DTG has accomplished. Now, with all of these services, you may be wondering, will we see more adverse signals along the route? The answer to that question is yes. According to the creator of the Timetable, Joe Burgess, you will find a variety of services that have to hold at stations for a train to pass them, services that follow one another, and services where nothing really happens. Also, if your train is late, You may encounter even more delays, with other trains being routed in front of you at stations such as Clapham Junction. I have more hope in this timetable than both Boston Sprinter and Riesa to Dresden, as those timetables had their timings done automatically instead of manually, which led to major issues on Boston Sprinter, where the whole line became a gridlock of trains. Now, the services follow the real-life timetable, or really, the 2018 timetable, which the in-game one is based on. This means that if a southern train left London Victoria at 5 p.m. in real life and reached Clapham Junction at 5:06, it will be reflected in-game. Hopefully this means that it won't be impossible like on Boston Sprinter to stay on time. It seems like this route will provide a ton of playability for everyone, and it only becomes more apparent when you find out that DTG has included the coupling maneuver that some trains do. If you don't know what I'm talking about, let me provide an example. At Brighton, you can have a 12-car train. 4 cars will break apart from the train and run down the East Coastway line, while the other 8 cars turn into a London Victoria service, running down the Brighton main line. On the other end, you can have an 8-car Gatwick Express train that couples to a 4-car train at Gatwick to create a 12-car service running to London Victoria. Because of this and a lot of player complaints, the setup time at the beginning of the service has been increased and can now range between 1 and 3 minutes. This gives you enough time to set up your cab, couple to another train, and allow the passengers to board. Overall, there's a lot going for this timetable, and it seems like there will be a nice variety of services for players to take part in, especially those who can access the layered services. The creator of the timetable, Joe Burgess, has mentioned that he's left spaces in the timetable for a possible future Thameslink DLC, to leave the door open for possibility. This doesn't mean that there will be a Thameslink DLC in the near future, only that the provisions have been left there in the timetable. Now, the good news about this route doesn't just stop at the services and the timetable, but the rolling stock has been significantly upgraded as well. Starting with the Class 377, previously featured in the East Coastway DLC, we have a multitude of new changes. First off, the sounds have been drastically improved. The train now features sounds provided by Armstrong Powerhouse, the same people who worked on the sounds for the Class 465 DLC on Southeastern High Speed. This means that the previous inaccurate sounds on the old Class 377 will be outright changed for the better. The train now features realistic door, traction motor, horn, and safety system sounds. Take a listen. The realistic sounds don't just stop at the Class 377 though, as the Class 387 has also seen a lot of love. It features a different traction motor sound to the Class 377, a unique horn sound, and more. Away from the sound talk though, the Class 387 also features a working pantograph. The pantograph will only work, however, when there are wires above the tracks. Apparently, they've even modeled the difference in performance between the AC and DC traction, so I look forward to possibly operating this along GWR where the overhead wires are visible. Also, the Class 377 and Class 387 will now feature side-scrolling and interior PIS, and the PIS text on the front of the train is slimmer, making the trains more true to life. The final change I feel like I should mention is that the Class 377/1 is also modeled with the route, although there are no visual changes between the Class 377/1 and 377/4, and frankly, there isn't much of a difference between them in real life, only that some 377/1 units share a different headlight cluster to that of the Class 377/4. On a different note, around this time last month, the achievements for this route appeared in the Steam database. They read, Gatwick Express, which is assumed to be completed by driving 387 miles with the Class 387. Gallop, which means obtain all collectibles. Gone Surfing, complete 1 service. Royal Visitors, complete 50 services. Peer Review, complete all scenarios. Extension, complete the long haul scenario. Batter Seaside, complete the rerouted scenario. Bright Star, complete all tutorials. Watching the World, which is assumed to be completed by traveling 100 miles as a passenger. And Holiday Maker, reach route level 20. The route is set to be released this week on Thursday, October 7th for PS4, PS5, the Xbox series of consoles, Steam, and on the Epic Games Store. It'll be available for a standalone price of $29.99 and a bundle price of $39.99 when buying the season ticket, which includes the already released Boston Sprinter and Risa to Dresden routes. Are you excited for the London Commuter route? Will you pick it up as soon as it releases? Tell me your thoughts about it in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to like the video if you enjoy it and subscribe to the channel for more content. If you would like to support the channel even further, consider becoming a channel member with the link in the description below. Happy rail fanning. Peace.